anyway, the story of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I'll quickly draw this schematic here. The reason Rich Dad, Poor Dad is so successful, it's basically a book on accounting. That's all it is. And how many people in this book have studied accounting? Good. How many people have never studied accounting? You're lucky. It is the single most boring subject on planet Earth, you know what I mean? And so that's why Tom helps me. But this is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I was born in Hawaii. I'm fourth generation Japanese American, which means I don't speak Japanese. So a lot of people come and practice on me. I say, I don't do that stuff, you know. I barely speak English. But Rich Dad, Poor Dad is simply a book on accounting. And Tom's been one of the best guides on it because this is how it started. So when I was 9 years old, my rich dad very simply said to me, you know, he says, because I was flunking out of school. My poor dad was the head of education for the state of Hawaii. And my rich dad was my best friend's father, who never finished school. And the reason he never finished school was because his father died when he was 13. And at 13, rich dad had to take over the family business. So this was the difference. Rich dad went to school in real school. He didn't have fake teachers. See, a fake teacher is somebody who doesn't do what they teach. Rich Dad was taught by his accountants, his bookkeepers, his attorneys, his banker, his brokers. So he had every day they were in the business of business. And one of the reasons I dropped out of my MBA program was because the teachers were fake. You know, when I was I was a Marine pilot. I was still just coming back from Vietnam in 1973. And I enrolled in the MBA program in Honolulu. I was stationed at Kaneohe Marine Corps Air Station. And I sat in the MBA class, and this teacher comes out. The guy was younger than me, because I was already 27. And he didn't know what he was talking about. And I asked him a real quick question. I said, are you an accountant? He says, yes, I have a master's in accountancy. And being a Marine, how many people remember the Vietnam era? I was not a popular guy sitting in an MBA class among all these communist students. And, you know, they're spitting at me. So I'm sitting there, and so these kids are like 20 years old, or whatever they are. And I've just come back, I've had friends die and all this stuff. I gotta put up with their BS, you know? So I'm sitting in this class, and I asked the instructor, I said, tell me, I just repeat the question. I'm a Marine lieutenant. I just don't like BS, you know? And I said, are you an accountant? He says, yes, I have a master's in accounting. I said, that's not the question. Are you an accountant? He says, I have a master in accountants. I said, have you ever been an accountant? He says, no. I resigned from the MBA program. He had no idea what he was